On Nextdoor, there was a discussion that I referred to in the previous video that this is connected to, but I said that we have to stop the Emmett-tilization of Oakland around Adams Point and the lake and in general. And what I meant was that on Nextdoor, there's an increased tendency for someone to put a comment about a person and say, oh, that person did a bad thing. And then, oh, even though the police didn't do anything, call the police. Even though the police have investigated, found there was no reason to write a citation, and went on about their business. Oh, well, call the police anyway. So what happens is that a group of people rush to the defense of the woman, as was in the case of this issue where this woman thought that this fellow was bothering her, and she says throwing something at her window, okay? And I said, look, get evidence. And so because I said get evidence, suddenly I'm the bad guy. Having been falsely accused myself, I'm very sensitive to that. And unlike others, however, particularly unlike other black men, I get to the video camera and I talk and I tell my story because no one's going to hijack my story, period. Bottom line is this. Beyond me, I have seen it every single day in the Bay Area when I'm there. I am not there right now, and I'm most of the time, like 70% of the time, not around. But on the 1 or 2 days I return, there's a negative energy that is so high, so palpable, I have never experienced it before. And it could be, it's expressed where it was on Nextdoor. A woman complained that this man, black man, was speaking to her. And it turned out the black man was married to one of the woman's neighbors. And that woman was mortified to the point of tears because her husband was reduced to the level of common criminal for saying hello. I pointed this out in another video about my gym. At the gym I was at, guy said hello, not me, to a woman. Woman hit him like that. It's the same woman that might get on Nextdoor and say, oh, this person's bothering me. Call the police. And so suddenly you have this mob of people that recognize this person. Now consider, suppose within that mob there's some 1 or 2 people or 3 that have such a violent tendency they would actually hurt that person and they might beat that person to death. If you don't know what the Emmett Till situation is, Emmett Till was a 14-year-old black teenager who talked to, made a pass at, flirted with a 21-year-old white woman in 1955. The husband and the husband's brother-in-law, half-brother, went to get Emmett Till at his uncle's house and beat Emmett Till to death. To death. So you see that kind of lynch mob mentality that existed then exists today, but it's played out using social media, and it has buried within it a group of people who live in Oakland who have racist ideas about people who don't look like them. This has been played out on listservs in the neighborhoods for some time. There was another example that was particularly scary to me when I read it. A black man was just in the middle of, I think, Lee Street, or crossing the street, but he was, as the poster wrote, fumbling in his pockets looking for something. And I thought, well, what do you mean by that? You know, I'm reading this. And a bunch of people said maybe he was just trying to find his keys. But the simple fact that someone white would look at someone black like that and then post that on a listserv is scary. But that's the climate we've created, folks. It's the climate we've created in Oakland. It's not healthy. And as my friend Davey D said, we're slowly building this powder keg. And I hope the powder keg never explodes, but I have a feeling that at some point it will. Some Emmett Till-like situation will develop unless we act. What do? We go back to talking. As I've said to everyone, when you go by a person in the neighborhood, you hold your head up, get off your phone, stop texting, say hello. hold a conversation with that person. Ask them how they're doing. Get to know who they are. Particularly if they don't look like you. That means if they're white and you're black, you talk to them. Now, we have a wonderfully diverse neighborhood. We do, true. But there's a problem. And we can't just say, oh, it's diverse, we don't have the problem. No, we do have the problem. And it's just right there, and it's an undercurrent that needs to be addressed before it's too late. Now, my thought, too, is that we make videos. People, you make videos of what's happening around you. Don't just get up and write something because, again, and then get evidence. Get evidence. And also people reading these listservs, look, stop trying to prove that you're like not the bad person. Think critically about what you read because it could affect you negatively if you get involved and it goes awry. I hope what I'm saying doesn't come to pass, but I have a feeling it just might. We need to stop this stuff before we regret it. There are too many instances of which this could go right off the rails.